What is up, everybody? Welcome to Howsit, episode 9. I'm your host, Richie Hansen, joined as always by Chloe Pearl. What's up, Chloe?
Hello, everyone.
And today, the most special of guests,
My
our
heart
bud,
is so happy.
Falon. Welcome, Falon.
Welcome.
Hi, thanks for
We are
having
so
me.
happy to have you on the first episode of 2023.
I know.
Yo.
I'm
so
honored.
pumped.
That's a big deal.
I know.
How's everybody's New Year's?
It was
Pretty
good.
solid.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
No? Okay.
Stayed
That's
up
great.
way too late.
Stayed up way too late.
Yeah.
Any resolutions that you're still keeping a week later?
I've been reading my Bible every morning and journaling every night,
Nice.
and it's going strong
Going
so far.
good. All right.
Going
I
good.
like it. I like it.
Yeah, I've been journaling more too. I used to love journaling. Like I would
Yeah.
journal every day, but I got a little burnt out on it and my life just got kind of cray-cray in 2022. So I was like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm shutting down. So I've been journaling and it's been so amazing. Like I feel refreshed by it again, which is very nice.
Now I'm feeling like maybe I should be journaling.
It's
No pressure.
It's kind of
But it's
amazing.
kind of
though.
amazing. Get a journal that like makes you happy inside and then write in it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
With a nice pen.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have to think about that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm keeping 2 of mine. The first one is to cook more. So I'm trying to cook like 3 times a week
Amazing.
because Becky is so good at cooking. She does it all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like I just need to like do something to challenge myself.
Yeah.
And so that's my challenge to myself is to cook because I'm not good at it. So she's like helping me. She's
I
helping me
hear
do
that you make a mean chocolate chip cookie.
Dude,
The
they're
chocolate chip cookies
so
are bonkers.
good.
And I hear you make mean breakfast for dinner.
I could make any kind of cookie.
Okay.
Cookies, I'm just like, let's go.
Cookies.
I'm in. Everything else, with the exception of breakfast, any kind of breakfast, I could make it. Like we had egg and bacon tacos for Christmas. They're amazing.
Amazing.
But any other kind of food, you can just like taste that I don't believe in myself in the food. You know, it's like there's something wrong with this food. What is it? Oh, it is self-consciousness. That's what I'm tasting.
my
That's
word.
the flavor that I'm picking up right now. So I'm trying to overcome that this year, which ties into my second one, which I'm still keeping, which is to act like an adult when I need to act like an adult.
Wow. That's
So
I actually
Wow.
love that.
admirable.
I think a lot of people need to
I agree.
do that, but
Yeah.
that's probably true. But speaking of acting like an adult, we're about to introduce Falon in a really special way.
It's really special.
Falon, have you lived here a year yet? No, right? Like, what is it? Like 8 months?
July, so 7, 8 months, yeah. Somewhere
8
around there.
months you've lived here now.
Yep.
There's probably some people who don't really know you that well yet. So we just want to take a minute and get to know Falon.
Okay.
I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing.
Falon, I heard that you once won a Nintendo Switch in a bet. Tell me about that.
Okay, so it's actually a crazy story. So my
We know.
sixth grade year, I was kind of in like the group of friends that was like ranch kids that like grew up on a farm, like were around, like grew up doing like bronc riding and barrel racing and all of that kind of stuff. And I also was like grown up in that kind of like area in life. Like my dad was raised on a farm, so that kind of just transferred into my childhood. And so anyways, we were out late one night, later than we should have been, and we were at this girl's farm, and they were like, okay, I got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas this year, and if you can jump on this bull, I'll give it to you for free.
Excuse me?
Yeah. And it's like this like massive bull, like
Yeah, most bulls
A
are.
bull.
yeah, like
Not to mention dangerous.
Yeah. So anyways, it's like maybe 11:30, maybe midnight, and I'm like, okay, bet, let's do this. So we go out there, and they're like all on the balcony, and you can see their like flashlights like watching me, and I'm like creeping up to this bull or whatever, and I get on the gate, and I just do it. I just jump on the bull.
Oh my
And
word.
it took, like, it was fine, like, it was settled, and then, like, 5 seconds later, like, the bull starts freaking out, and I get kicked off of it, and I break, or, like, fracture, like, my collarbone.
Oh my word.
But I got the Nintendo Switch.
I heard that maybe that Switch was just given as a gift to somebody else who should be very grateful.
Yeah.
Yes, it should have been, but I got lost in the mail.
But like it worked out eventually, right?
Yes,
He got the switch.
That's
yes,
wonderful.
he did.
Great story.
Fallon, I also heard that you're supposed to be in Texas playing soccer right now. What happened?
Yeah. So, 8th grade year, I signed to go to the University of Texas for D1 as a goalie. And then my freshman year, we went to state and I got sideswiped and my knee locked and I dislocated it on the field. And so they had to pull me off and they were like, it looks like you tore what's it called? Hairline fractured your meniscus. And I was like in like so much pain. And so after that, I started going to physical therapy, figured out that it was actually a much bigger issue. And I had some ACL issues and whatever. And they're like, you're not going to be able to play the rest of the season. And so I still went to like conditioning and everything with the rest of my team. And then just one day, this girl ended up moving up and playing for me during the season and I just couldn't play anymore. And so they're like, we're going to have to take your scholarship away. And so I got my scholarship taken and I was absolutely heartbroken, had no idea what I was going to do with my life.
That's wild though that you got the scholarship in 8th grade.
Yes.
For the University of Texas.
I worked my butt off for it, but yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that happened, but can I say I'm glad that you're here?
Yeah, me too.
so glad that you're
Super.
here.
Yeah. God's hand was over it, so it's okay.
Final thing, I also heard that you almost died on a plane and it was my wife's fault.
Yeah, so, okay, for everyone that doesn't know, I am allergic to strawberries.
Like, definitely allergic.
So it's funny though, when I was 5, my Nana, I was over at her house, and she was feeding me strawberries and Cool Whip, and I ate so many strawberries. I probably ate a whole carton by myself at the ripe age of 5, threw it up, and then I could never eat them again. And then just over time, it developed into this thing where if I had it, like my throat would close up, my tongue would get swollen, and fast forward now, I am pretty allergic to them. And I was going out to Colorado to visit my family in September. And your wife, Becky, being the absolute best human I've ever met, packed me plain snacks, okay?
So nice.
And one of them, it's like all of Emmett's school snacks. So, they're good snacks. And so I'm like going through my backpack on the plane. We're like an hour and a half in. And I find this like fruit roll-up thing. And it says like mixed berry on it, but it didn't have a strawberry on the front. So I was just like, oh, this is probably fine. So I open it and I'm like eating on this fruit roll-up or whatever. And then like...
It's like a fruit leather, right?
Yeah, it was like the one with the raccoon on it. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, they're like 2 little spirals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so I was like eating it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I cannot breathe. And I'm like freaking out, having a panic attack. I'm like, I'm on an airplane right now and I'm having an allergic reaction and I don't know what to do. Yeah. So I'm like freaking out, like I didn't know what to do. And then I'm like looking through my bag, like I'm looking through every single thing I packed, and I found a Benadryl in the bottom of my makeup bag. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Yes. He was watching me. And so I took it, conked out, woke up, and I was like, that was a close one.
Made it.
Oh, wow.
Not by much, though.
That's
like the person next to me was just like, are you okay? And I was like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, they don't just carry EpiPens for people.
They might have like Benadryl or something, but who knows?
Yeah, but who knows? So I was like, I'm fine.
And even if there was like a nurse or doctor on the plane, like what are they going to do?
I know, like
unless they have an EpiPen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, if this is my time, it's my time.
Have you ever gotten an EpiPen before?
I did. So it was kind of weird. I had an allergic reaction I think it was in middle school in 8th grade, and my friend had an EpiPen on her and used it on me, but it like wasn't like for me.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But I've never been.
Do you remember it? Did it hurt?
A little bit. It was like a little pinch.
You're like,
I was like, but death, little pinch.
Yeah.
Take
a little pinch.
So
take a little pinch every time.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much, Falon, for enduring our random questions.
Yeah,
it
you're
was
welcome.
a blast to hear more about your life.
Yeah, of course.
So now that we've heard what's up with us, let's talk about what's going on with New Hope Youth.
All right, guys, it is 2023. It's a new year. And going along with all things new, we have some new things to tell you about that are going on with New Hope Youth.
We have a lot of new things to tell you about.
A lot of new things. First and foremost, though, is the new show that will be on YouTube starting a week from today.
That is so exciting.
It's
I'm
called
so excited for
Asking for a Friend. And basically the way the show works is you submit questions about anything you want to know about in life. Like, what does God say about XYZ? How do I deal with this kind of situation? What about this relationship in my life? Whatever it is. And we just go for like 10 minutes or less, and we're just going to answer your question, and we're going to try and give you some biblical insight into whatever's going on in your life.
Wow.
It can be easy question, hard question, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that starts a week from today, Tuesday, on YouTube. It'll also be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you prefer to just listen. But starting next Tuesday, it will be up. So that means every single Tuesday, there will be a new video on the New Hope Youth YouTube channel.
That is so exciting. So if you want to submit a question for asking for a friend, how do you do that?
There are so many ways you can do that.
Really, there is no limits.
There are no limits.
There's none.
Unlimited.
The limit
love
does not
that.
exist.
You can DM us on Instagram, whether it be our personal pages or the Radiate page. You can leave a comment on YouTube if you want to do it that way. You can text us. You can tell your core group leader. You can ask a friend to ask us.
You can write it on a little piece of
That's the whole
paper
point.
and give it to us and run away.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Basically,
Anything.
any way you can communicate with us, you can ask a question for asking for a friend.
So
Now,
we encourage you to do that, right?
yes, we're going to try and answer as many questions as we can. So don't feel like, well, my question's not that important or whatever. No, just ask your question.
Just ask.
Somebody else probably has the same situation or the same question. So just ask it. Just ask it. And it's going to be totally anonymous. We're not going to be like, this week's question comes from blah, blah, blah. And then your parents
No.
are going to be like, why are you asking that question? No, none of that. Okay. It's going to be completely anonymous. We're not going to say you ask questions, but we are going to answer them. Even if they feel awkward or weird or difficult, we're going to answer all of them. So that's the new show. We also have a new series starting tomorrow night.
Yes, our new series is called Words and Works. And it's really cool because we are alternating between parables in the Bible and miracles that Jesus did. So every other week, it's going to be something a little bit different. But tell us about what we're going to be learning throughout this series.
So really what we're going to be seeing in this series is who Jesus really is.
Yeah.
Because like we talk all the time about following in the way of Jesus, living like Jesus.
Right.
So this group of lessons are going to use teachings that Jesus gave and miracles that Jesus did to demonstrate to us the way that Jesus wants us to live, the way that Jesus wants us to interact in our communities, and the kind of people that Jesus wants us to be. So
so
I think it's going
cool.
to be really exciting.
Love it. Wildfire and Ignite, if you're watching and you're in Ignite, holla. But Wildfire has a Dude Perfect night coming on February 10th.
Dude, that's
So
so
some of you
exciting.
might not know what Dude Perfect is.
Fallon, do you know what Dude Perfect is?
Obviously. The Builderbacks have trained me very well.
Okay, well, last year at this time, I didn't know what Dude Perfect was. Basically, it's trick shots, okay? We have water bottle flipping. We have paper airplane things. We have Nerf. We have
Ping pong
basketball,
balls.
ping pong, everything, okay?
Ping pong.
Ping pong.
The whole shebang.
It's the whole thing.
It's a competition,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
You're going to get
That's
a scorecard.
the coolest part.
Yeah.
Is that it's like a competition. So there will be like crowned a winner of Dude Perfect night.
Yes. We have, I think, 45 trick shots for you to do in the youth center. So it's going to be wild. You
That's
can do all of
exciting.
them. You're going to calculate your points and the winner will get a prize. It's going to be great. So February 10th, 6 to 9 p.m. in the youth center.
Chloe, I know you're going to be there. Fallon, will you be there?
Yeah.
Obviously.
I wouldn't miss it.
I'll be there.
Amazing.
I'm bringing
I'm so
Emma with
excited.
Me. It's gonna be
Yes.
great. It's going to be great. I'm actually really pumped for Dude Perfect night. I wasn't here last year when it happened. So I feel like I missed out. So I'm pumped for this one. Radiate is also doing something in February. We're going bowling in February.
That's so fun.
So, February 24th at 7 p.m., we're just going to meet at the bowling alley.
Amazing.
Okay. If you do need a ride, just let me know. we will get you there. But
Absolutely.
otherwise, just plan to meet at the bowling alley, 7:00. Here's the thing. The cost is $10. If you bring a friend, somebody who does not go to church with us, somebody who like is not a regular attender, whatever it is, you're free. Your friend is free.
Whoa.
So
Wow.
you come with just like the boys from church. That's great. That's fine. You come with your friends from church. That's great. It'll be $10. You bring somebody with you who does not go to church already, free for both of you.
Wow.
Amazing.
So, and as many people as want to come can come, because the bowling alley is straight up first come, first serve. So it's not like I reserved and there's only 30 spots. Like if 100 people come, great. 100 people can bowl.
Yeah.
So bring as many people as you want. They'll all be free if they don't already go here. So
That's so cool.
and there'll
that
also
is
be
really
pizza.
cool. What a fun
and
time.
stuff too.
I
So.
was going to ask
Yeah.
if there would be
Aw.
pizza,
We're
because
gonna
that's
have
really
food
a
and stuff,
selling
too.
point for me. So
Okay.
The food.
I love pizza.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So amazing.
Fair.
But
Also, we'll be giving away a prize for best bowler.
Oh,
whoa. Okay.
So that could mean a lot of things. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it could.
And also, there will be no judgment for bumpers.
I was going to say, I will be a bumpers person.
There will be no judgment for bumpers
Okay,
at all.
thank you.
So just so you're aware,
Thanks.
no judgment. And if somebody judges you for that, let me know and I'll take care of that.
Yeah, because
Good, as you
I
should.
feel too self-conscious without bumpers. I just don't have fun if I don't have bumpers, you
Yeah,
know?
and that's fine because
fair.
it's
'Cause
really
Because I would
your
miss
security.
every time, you know?
Yeah, it's
Like,
your
and that's,
security.
nobody wants to be that girl.
Yeah.
So,
and like
understandable.
none of us are trying to be a professional bowler.
Yeah.
no,
Like we have a couple really good bowlers,
of course.
which I didn't know.
Interesting.
One of which is Carter Blodgett,
Really?
great bowler.
Wow.
Also-
I didn't know that.
I think I'm remembering this right. I'm pretty sure Ava is also a great bowler.
Really?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Ava is a really good bowler. too. So anyway, there's some good bowlers, and that's great. They could win best bowler, and they don't need bumpers, and that's fine. But like some people just need them, and that's okay.
That's okay.
We're
Okay,
okay with
leave us
that.
alone.
It'll be great. Either way, it'll be great. So that's kind of what's going on with New Hope Youth. Now let's see what's going on with you.
All right, guys, we're at part 3 of Howsit, which is how it is with Falon. So we want to know, Falon, what is God teaching you right now?
I'm in this like weird season in life where it's like so last month I was dealing with a lot of difficult people. Like I was struggling so much with like just relationships that were like I felt like were going well, and then over time like people were showing like true colors, and it was like hard for me to process because I felt like I knew these people and I like trusted them with like a lot of things, and it just ended up not being that way, and I was really bitter about it and I wanted to be really petty, but like God humbled me really fast. Like it was like this place where it was like it wasn't even like him like telling me that I'm doing something wrong. It was just like moments where I remembered I was being the same way, and like people showing me grace. And like that's also another thing that I've been learning is like how to receive forgiveness and grace, and also how to give it in a proper way to people with still keeping boundaries. And so with those difficult relationships, I've in the process of like slowly like forgiving them and like making sure that they know that they're forgiven, and like what that looks like with like communicating with one another, like just talking about it and like being real and raw with each other, and not being like, oh well you did this and it's fine, like it's whatever, but like actually saying like, no, you did this and it actually really hurt me, and like this is why it hurt me, and like having hard conversations has been really helpful. And then like after forgiveness, it's like, okay, so now that we were like separated and now we're back together, how do we rebuild this relationship that we once had? Like, what does that look like? Does that mean like putting up new boundaries of what we can share with each other? Does that mean just being able to be okay with only texting sometimes and not all the time? Like that kind of thing. And so I guess right now just like learning how to be hopeful and to continue to pursue people that like are hurting me, I guess, like just being like content that God has this relationship, and whatever happens in this relationship that I can pursue it and try to make it right. And if they don't want that, then that's okay, because I know that I'm right with God and that I'm right with that person. So just being like satisfied that like everything will be okay. So
Yeah. I think that's really cool. I think it can be so easy, like you're saying, to like retaliation is like built into us so much. Like, I'm going to get mine from this situation. Like, this person's the one who messed up, not me. I'm not going to feel bad about what I do next. And like, that's a really hard thing for me too, is to feel like I just want to go after somebody.
Yeah.
But like, man, if I think about it, like if I'm really honest, like you were saying, I think about the fact that like Jesus had that option with me and he didn't take it.
Yeah.
And like, he allowed himself to be humbled to a place where he's like, yo, you are literally the most difficult person on the planet, but I love you enough to like lay down my life for you. And that doesn't mean that like I get away with like doing messed up stuff or that like there's not consequences for my actions or whatever. Sure. But it does mean that like there is love and forgiveness that can exist there. I think that's really great.
Yeah. And like, it's also hard because when I was in those situations, I would go to the wrong people to ask for advice. And like, this, like, just society today is like, well, if they did you wrong, then like you either leave them and or you do them back. You know what I mean? Like, it's this point game that's like, well, you did this, so I'm going to do this back to you. And then I have the last, like, I did the last thing, so then it's over kind of ordeal. Sure. And like, so now it's like just breaking down the wall of that habit and the patterns in that relationship so that there's actually like growth in it.
Right. Yeah. Like, you're the person to stop the madness.
Yeah.
Like, okay, everybody get off this train that we're on. Let's stop it. I think that's really cool. So what you said that like you were like taking advice from the wrong people. What does it look like and how does it work for you to find the right person to go to for advice?
Dude, it's life-changing. like you can go to one person and they'll be like, no, that was so wrong of them. Like, you need to just like block them and you need to not talk about it. Like, just leave it. And then there's also like going to the right person and then being like, well, hold on a second. They weren't the only person that did something wrong. You also were in the wrong in this. Like, you need to apologize and you need to have the conversation of like, hey, so you did this and then I did that and I'm really sorry that I did that, but you hurt me. Like, how can we fix this kind of thing? And when you go to the right people, like, it's not this thing of like bad versus bad. It's like they're trying to like turn the situation into a positive way. So it's not just like, well, it's a negative situation. Let's make this a positive one, you know?
Yeah. That's so funny that you say that, Falon, because you are that person.
Oh,
for tons of people, you are. You're never the one that sugarcoats and just tells people what they want to hear about a situation or a conflict or anything like that. You're the person that's like, but sis, you could have done something different too. And that's amazing. Like, everyone needs friends like that. And that's the kind of friend that we should be. Not that we shouldn't be kind, but we should hold our friends accountable for their actions, especially when we're walking with Jesus together, right? Yeah. One thing I wanted to talk to you about or ask you about was how you talked about boundaries. And I think there's this really weird gray area because boundaries are important in toxic relationships. But what do you do when boundaries meets, well, I still want to love them and I still want to show Jesus to them, but I still need to have boundaries? Yeah. How do you mix those two, do you think?
That was really hard for me because it's like you hear that, like, the expression of like you can love from a distance. But the thing is like when you are having a difficult relationship with someone and they don't necessarily know who Christ is, like, it's hard to keep that boundary of like, okay, like, I still love you and I'm still here for you, but you need to stay over here kind of ordeal, because Jesus is so real and he's so up close with people. Like, he meets them right where they are, no matter what the circumstances. And for me personally, like, I have friends that I did like youth group with and Awanas with, and like they are not even close to where God wants them to be or like where God wants to meet them, and that's just like solely on them. Like, they just don't want to be in that place with him, and that's okay. Like, I pray for them every day and I still like text them every once in a while and I'm like, hey, I'm praying for you, like, how's it going? Like, is there something I can specifically be praying for you? Because like, even if like these people in your life aren't like saying, hey, I want to learn more about Jesus, let's talk, let's have a Bible study, like that kind of thing, you can still be that light in someone's life and still say, hey, I'm praying for you. Even just that comment like goes so far for someone, because it's like this person sees me and this person is like listen to me, and like it's not just like a one-way street. Like, you can be there for someone and not be right in the middle of their situation.
Well, and that's showing Jesus to people, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're going the extra mile when you don't
For
have
sure.
to or you're not obligated to, that's what Jesus would have
Yeah,
done. And that's
for
the kind
sure.
of people and the kind of friends that we should be,
Yeah.
especially with difficult people. Those are the people that we should try to love and go the extra mile for the most.
for sure.
That's hard. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's easy, or
Yeah.
I'm not grazing past that, but that's really what we should be doing as Christ followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think it's so interesting because there are passages of scripture that talk about how Jesus was like eating dinner with these like people, and the Pharisees are like, yo, why are you eating dinner with these awful humans?
Right.
And Jesus is like, well, I didn't come for like well people. I came for sick people. Right. And I think something that we miss in that passage often is the fact that, yes, Jesus is sitting down to dinner with these people, but he's not participating in sin with them.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to the places where they're like living out these bad and awful things. He's like getting around them and spending time with them and showing love to them, but he's not like living out their day-to-day rituals with them and that kind of stuff. And I think that's so important when we think about boundaries is like, okay, how can I, whether it's actually sharing a meal or not, how can I share a meal with this person without participating in all of the things that are detrimental to life that they have going on? And I think that is like a big thing is like, and that might be different for every person.
Yeah.
And that looks like you're saying, sending text messages saying, I'm praying for you, right? And like establishing that we're going to talk about something significant or important or spiritual. We're not going to talk about whatever like random
Stupid
thing.
small talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or things like when they text me, I'm not necessarily going to text them back right away.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to give it, I'm going to pause before I text them back.
Yeah.
Or texting them back and just being like, I just don't feel like this is a great conversation for me to be a part of. And like
Yep.
those things are all okay. And those things are important. And
sure.
we can learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes for not just friends too. It goes for relatives and I don't know, like literally anyone.
Yeah.
Even if it's someone you've had conflict with in the past, like it doesn't matter. I think that no matter what the situation is, reconciliation should always be the goal, right? We should
sure.
never just say like, oh, this relationship too far gone. They've wronged me too many times. We should always hope that reconciliation happens. You know, it might not. That's just the reality. It might not happen, but we should hope and pray that it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. That's so awesome. I'm glad you guys that we were able to talk about that, and I hope that you guys really were able to like digest some of that and just think about in your new year how that can be a part of your life, because I think it can be a significant shift in your life when you start pursuing reconciliation instead of just cutting things off
For sure.
or just like going back at somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's Howsit for today. I'm so thankful that you guys joined us. So glad that Falon could be on with us. Thank you so much, Falon, for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. We love you guys. We're here for you. Reach out if you need anything, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.